Howdy champs, my name is Mohit, and guys, today I'm going to talk about HTML attributes and attribute selectors. Let's start. Let me hit the file, new button. Guys, I'm using Dreamweaver CS55. Okay, I'm going to choose the layout to be none, but I'm going to change the doc type. I'm going to make sure that it's the latest HTML doc type, which is HTML5. Right, and then I'm gonna hit the create button. Cool. Guys, have a look out here that I'm using the classic workspace, my favorite workspace, especially because it gives me so many icons out here at the top. Okay, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a title and save the document. I'm gonna say attributes and attribute selectors. Right, let me save the document up. Let me call it index. Cool. Now guys, I'm absolutely sure most of you know that whatever actually appears in the head of the document is not visible on the web page. Whatever appears inside the body is what actually appears in the design area of the web page. Right, let me select this bit and let me collapse it. Cool. Right, now guys, to demonstrate the use of attributes and attribute selectors, I'm going to use the anchor tag, the A tag. Let me start creating a few hyperlinks. Okay, momentarily let me switch over to the code view, guys, to make things easy for us to understand and work with. Okay, so that's an opening A tag, and then let me say quality lessons and tutorials. Since I have an opening anchor tag, I need to have a closing anchor tag too. Let me go back to the split view and let's see how things look like right now. Well, nothing much. Let me go back to the code view. Now I'm going to add a few attributes, guys, to the anchor tag. Okay, the first attribute that I would want to use is the href attribute. Now this attribute would point to the URL. Okay, so let me say http://qualitylessons.net. all right, now what exactly are attributes? Here href is an example of attribute. Attributes give you additional information. Sometimes they're used to style the HTML tag, right? So here the href attribute is pointing to the URL, so that's some additional information. Right, let me give a space, and the second attribute that I would want to use is the target attribute. Now through the target attribute, guys, I'm telling that I would want the page to open up in a separate blank page, not on the same page. All right, so here I've actually used two attributes, the first one being the href attribute, the second one being the target attribute. Okay, which is specifying that when somebody clicks on quality lessons and tutorials, which by now has actually become a hyperlink. How can I be sure? Let me click on the split button and you can actually see that it's turned blue. And if I were to click on quality lessons and tutorials, let me go to the live view, and if I click on it, it would open up the URL, which is http://qualitylessons.net. Let me show it to you in the browser after saving the changes to the file. Okay, let me click on the link and you can actually see that qualitylessons.net, which may, you know, the server may be down right now, but it's actually a link right now, a hyperlink. Never mind. Let me go back to Dreamweaver. Cool. Now let me go back to the code view, and guys, after which I'm gonna insert a horizontal rule. You do that by, since I'm using the HTML5 doc type, all I need to say is HR, and then I can pass let's say the width attribute. Now that's giving additional information. So I'm saying that I would want the width to be, let's say 15%. all right, and then I say that I would want, so attributes can be used to pass in some information, additional information, or to style the tag itself. So let's say the color I would want is a 990000 $9900. all right, and then I'm passing in a third attribute, the align attribute. I'm making sure that the horizontal rule, the horizontal line, is actually aligned left. So I've actually passed in 3 attributes. Let me close the tag up, guys, and let me go to the split view to show you how things look like right now. Let me take a preview in Google Chrome after saving the changes to the file. There you go, guys. We see the hyperlink out here and this horizontal rule just below that. Let me go back to Dreamweaver. Okay, let me go to the code view, and now, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this bit, these 2 lines, a Control C. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to hit enter twice. I'm going to paste again. All right, let's see how the design area looks like now. Okay, so let me take a preview in Google Chrome, and yep, so this is how things look like right now. So guys, we have actually used a lot of attributes, and I'm sure you have actually understood, so far what exactly attributes are. So for the anchor tag, the href is an attribute, the target is an attribute, right? And as far as the HR or the horizontal tag is concerned, the width was an attribute, color was another attribute, and align was the third attribute. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select line number 9. And if I do that, I can come to the properties panel out here, and I can pass in a title. And in the title, I can write something like quality lessons and tutorials in CSS and AS3. That's section script 3. And I'm going to hit enter. And the moment I do that, guys, you can actually notice that a third attribute has been inserted in line number 9, which is the title attribute, which says quality lessons and tutorials in CSS and ActionScript 3. Okay, apart from the href and the target attribute, which were already there. Okay, so in line number 9 we have 3 attributes. Line number 10 we have 3 attributes again, the width, the color, and the align. Line number 12 we have the href and the target attribute, and line number 15 we have the href and the target attribute. So attributes are actually, can be used to style the tag, can be used to give additional information. So that's exactly what attributes are. So so far we have understood attributes. Now I'm going to move ahead, and I'm going to show you how do we use attribute selectors to style. Attributes selectors to style further. Let's check that out. Okay, now guys, have a look. I'm in the CSS styles panel, and here at the bottom I have the new CSS rule plus button. Okay, so basically I need to create a new CSS rule. I'm going to click that. All right, and next, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down the contextual select. I'm going to select compound. Okay, after which, guys, I'm going to make sure that the CSS rule that I'm creating is going to be saved in an external style sheet. And the way to do it is to drop down and select new style sheet. If I were to keep it at the default, which is this document only, an internal style would be created, but I wish to save my styles in an external style sheet, so I need to select this option which says new style sheet file. Alright, after which, guys, I need to choose a name for my selector. I'm going to use attribute selectors for the first time. Let's see how we actually do that. Guys, I'm going to say A for anchor tag, and then in the square brackets I'm going to pass in something. I'm going to say href. Or rather, let me just say title. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to convey to Dreamweaver is that the rule that is getting created should affect only those anchor tags that have the title attribute, and that is true only for qualitylessons.net, where we have actually used the title attribute. Okay, so this should not affect any other link tag, any other hyperlink, but just the first one. And then I'm going to say OK. Obviously Dreamweaver would want to know the name of the external style sheet, so I'm going to say my CSS and hit the save button. Now guys, out here you can notice that just beside the source code I have a new file which is my css.css. Alright, and all that I wish to say out here is that I wouldn't want the text decoration to be underline out here. I would want it to be none. Okay, that should remove the underline, and let me say OK. Alright, and if I were to go to this file which is my css.css, you can actually have a look out here that the text decoration has been set to none. Let me say file save, and let me go back and let me show you my local site folder. Alright, so it has this index.html file along with my CSS external style sheet. Cool. Let me go back to the source code. Now guys, let me show you how things look like in the design area. Okay, if I were to hit the live view button, you can actually see that the second hyperlink and the third hyperlink are actually underlined but not the first one, and this is all due to the style, the attribute selector that we had just created. Let me show you a preview in Google Chrome quickly. There you can actually see the second and the third hyperlink are underlined but not the first one. Let me head back to Dreamweaver. Let me show you another example of how to create an attribute selector. Let me click on the plus button, guys. You can actually see that the rule is getting saved itself in the mycs.css external style sheet, which is fine. I'm going to drop the contextual selector. I'm going to choose compound, and this time, guys, I'm going to write A for anchor tag, and in these square brackets I'm going to say target is equal to underscore blank. All right, so basically what I'm telling Dreamweaver is that this rule that I'm going to create right now should target itself to all those anchor tags which have the target attribute set to underscore blank. Now that is true for all the three hyperlinks, guys. All the three have a target attribute that has been set to underscore blank. Basically, now what is going to happen is that all the three hyperlinks should get affected. Cool. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to change the color to, let's say, this color for the hyperlink, and for all the three I would want the text decoration to be none. That would make sure that the underline actually goes away for the second and the third hyperlink as well. The first had already been taken care of. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to take a look in Google Chrome, and guys, you can actually see that the underline for all the three hyperlinks is actually gone. Not only that, all the three have actually turned themselves to this darkish maroonish color, right, which is a #900 990000, right. So this was yet another example of how to actually use attribute selectors. Cool. Let me show you another example of how to use the attribute selectors. Let me click this plus button, guys. Let me drop down the contextual selector to be a compound, making sure that the new rule that is being generated should get saved in the mycss.css file. I'm gonna target the anchor tag in such a manner that as long as the href contains, so I'm going to use the asterisk, I'm going to say equal to, basically as long as the href attribute contains the, let's say, the word, in fact, let me cancel it out first. Let me go back to the code view. I need to make certain changes out here. The first change that I would want to make is where it says, for the second hyperlink where it says qualitylessons.net, I'm going to change that. I'm going to type google.com. So this should become google.com, and out here should say the king of search engines, right? The king of search engines, google.com. And out here in line number 16 where it says qualitylessons.net, let me change it to google.co.in. okay, and out here I'm going to change it to Google India. Right, let me go to the split view. Let me see the changes that have taken place. Yes, they are exactly what I wanted to do. And now let me be in the code view. Right, and guys, then let me click on this new CSS rule button, drop down the contextual selector to a compound. Alright, I'm going to target all the anchor tags that have the href attribute which contains the word Google. So I'm going to type Google out here, Google, and then let me close the square bracket up. So basically the rule will affect the anchor tags with the href attribute which contains the word Google, and that should happen for the second and the third hyperlink, guys. Let me straight away say okay, and here let's say I would want the font variant to be small caps. Let me say okay, and let me take a preview in Google Chrome to see if the changes have actually taken place. And guys, you can have a look out here. The king of search engines and Google India have actually turned themselves to small caps. So exactly what I wanted to do. So it's working very, very nicely. Not a problem at all. Okay, let me create one more attribute selector. Okay, this time let me drop the contextual selector to a compound, and this time let's say I would want all the anchor tags which have the title attribute which contains, so I'm going to use the tilde sign, which contains as one of its values the word lessons. Right, so that's lessons in the inverted quotes. Okay, so guys, what I've done out here is I'm targeting the anchor tags which contain the title attribute in such a manner that one of the space separated values is actually lessons. You can actually have a look out here that the title is quality lessons. So yes, one of the space separated value or word is actually lessons, which is fine. So basically this rule that I'm going to create is going to target only the first hyperlink, since one of the space separated values is actually lessons, right? And it's going to save itself in the mycss.css external style sheet. I'm going to say okay, and let's say I would want to change the color to this dark green color. I'm going to say okay, and let's take a preview in Google Chrome to see if the changes have actually taken place. And guys, you can have a look out here that quality lessons and tutorials is in green. The rest of the two hyperlinks are in this maroonish, reddish maroonish color. Right, let me go back to Dreamweaver. Okay, so very, very good. Right, cool. Let me show you one more example of creating an attribute selector. So the it's kind of routine now. It's a compound rule. I'm going to target all the anchor tags in such a manner that let me think. Let me think. All right. So where the href attribute starts with, so I'm going to use the caret sign, starts with HTTP, and that's true for all the three hyperlinks. So the caret is equal to means starts with HTTP. So HTTP, right? So basically all the anchor tags which have the href attribute that starts with HTTP. Basically all the three anchor tags start with HTTP. So it's going to affect all the three hyperlinks. Let me say OK, and just let me choose a color to be let's say a dark blue this time. I'm going to say OK, and let me take a preview in Google Chrome to see what has happened. Guys, you can see that the hyperlinks that were green, also the hyperlinks that were maroonish, have all changed to the color blue. Excellent. All right. Let's show you one more example of how to use the attribute selectors. So I'm going to click this new CSS rule plus button, drop down the contextual selector to a compound, and guys, this time I'm going to target all the anchor tags, let's say, which contain the word which end with .co.in. So that's href, that have the href attribute and the $sign. Okay, the $sign, and then I'm going to say equal to, then I'm going to say ends with .co.in. So you can have a look out here that the third hyperlink actually ends with .co.in. all right, so let me close the, let me put the square bracket out here, and so that's it. So this should affect only the third hyperlink, guys, and it's getting saved itself in the external style sheet. Let me say OK, and now let me make it italic. All right, let me say OK, and let me take a preview in Google Chrome to see how things look like right now. And guys, you can actually have a look out here. Only the third hyperlink has actually been affected, so very good. Let me go back to Dreamweaver. All right, so guys, let's have a look out here in the CSS styles panel. We have created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attribute selectors. We've used the tilde sign, we've used the caret sign, we use the $sign, we use the asterisk. All right, and we've used the attribute target and checked if it was equal to the _blank value. Here we just checked if the anchor tag has the title attribute, and then we applied the rule to it. So basically there are so many ways in which you can use attributes and attribute selectors. So guys, I actually hope this tutorial was useful to you, and hope to see you very soon with yet another Dreamweaver tutorial. You have a very good day, guys. Bye bye. Peace.